never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion. Got my statement, and I'm reading it slow so I can understand it fully. Appreciate my standing, go out of this world and right on time. Oh, never in my life have I seen the sky light up like this. I'm far away from Earth and I wanna know if you exist. Mission control, do you read me? Send me my coordinates lately. Mission control, am I drifting? Tie me to someone who will love me, yeah. Wait, I think I'll last a bit longer. Fine.
Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. Happy Friday to everybody out there. And if you follow the channel, you know that I bounce around and jump around and talk about anything at any given time. And you know that's true with the fact that in 2 years here on YouTube, I think I've done 6 videos on Where Are They Now? And they've just been done sporadically. Well, earlier this week, if I'm not mistaken, it was Tuesday, it hit me that I haven't done something in a long time. I've only done one since I started the channel, and I said I was going to do it sporadically here and there, and that's probably been over a year ago, or at least a year ago, and I have not done one since then, and I just flat out forgot. And I've mentioned numerous times here on the channel that I don't write this stuff down. I come in here, I do the video, and then I think about, what am I going to talk about tomorrow? So since I don't write this stuff down and keep it, I don't always remember what I talk about. And what I'm talking about is Fed Up Friday. And the reason I call it Fed Up Friday is because I do it on Fridays, and it's things that I'm fed up with. Could be about sports, might not be about sports, but it's just things that I'm fed up with. So without further ado, today comes installment number 2 on Fed Up Friday. And like I said, it could be about sports, might not be. The first topic is not about sports. And I'm fed up with the fact that everything is going up except my paycheck. You keep getting bills in the mail, and they keep going up, up, up. Food keeps going up. Groceries keep going up. Things you buy in the store keep going up. But my paycheck isn't moving. So we need to either add to the paycheck or go down on everything else, because I'm fed up with everything else going up except my paycheck. And I'm fed up in the sports world of everybody wanting to compare players all the time. Why can't we just enjoy the player? And if you've watched any sport for any amount of time, you know what I'm talking about. It can be a football player that is a quarterback that got drafted out of college, and he'll go to the NFL, and within a year, maybe 2, people are already comparing the quarterback to Tom Brady and comparing him to Joe Montana and seeing he's one of the greatest of all times and comparing him to Steve Young, comparing him to Johnny Unitas. Why can't we just sit back and let the players play, and then either at the end or towards the end of their careers compare them? Because you're putting too much pressure on these players when they come out of college And before they even hit their first 4 years where they get their huge contract extension or become free agents, you're already saying, oh, they're a future Hall of Famer. Just let the players play. Same way in baseball and same way in basketball. You've got this basketball player now named Victor Wembanyama that I can already tell you is not going to be a flop, but he's not going to be one of the 50 greatest players of all time. He's just not. You can believe what you want to, but he's not. But he hasn't even played 1 quarter in the NBA regular season yet, and people are already saying he's the best player of all time. Now, again, he's not. But you shouldn't say that before somebody even plays a game. Let them go out there and play. In the baseball world right now, you've got Shohei Ohtani, who is on pace to be the greatest baseball player the game has ever seen if he continues playing the way he is right now. But we're talking about a guy that's only been around for a handful of years, and people are already saying he's the greatest player of all time. Well, he's going down that path. He might be. But let the guy go out there and play. People don't realize how much pressure you're putting on these players when they hear the comparisons to other players. Now, of course, players always come out and say, I don't worry about it, or I ain't heard that, or I ain't read that, but they're lying. They've heard it. They've read it. And all it does is make them try harder to live up to expectations. Just let them play. And I'm fed up with players whining all the time. Now, of course, that's mainly basketball players, but you do see it in baseball, and you do see it in football, and they're being interviewed, and they're whining about something the coach said, or something the opposing player said, or something the coach said, or they're mad because a broadcaster said they didn't do this right. And it's like, oh my gosh, go out there and play. Do these players not realize that the broadcasters are broadcasters because either they used to play or they're not good enough to play, but they love the sport? So while you're out there playing, they have to give opinions and thoughts on your play. So if they give an opinion or a thought on something you did right or wrong, they're not being mean. They're just telling you what they saw. These players go out here and make millions and millions and millions of dollars, and then they want to complain because a broadcaster said they had a bad game, or they had a bad half, or they had a bad quarter. Things like that are going to happen. You can't take this stuff personal. It's hard for me to believe these players make millions and millions of dollars, and they are so doggone whiny. But it's mainly basketball players, and that's why you see the NBA, they now have that new rule about flopping. And the reason why they've done that is because basketball players go out there, and if you thump them, they fall down. You've got LeBron James, who's 6'7", 6'8", 260 pounds, and a guy my size goes by him and barely touches his shoulder, and LeBron flies across the court. Dude, get up. There's no way somebody half your size knocked you that far. And then you've got NBA players that when you watch a game, they'll reach out and slap somebody where it's clearly a foul. And as soon as they get called for a foul, they'll say, no, I didn't foul him. When everybody in the world saw what you did. You'll never, in the history of time, see a basketball player ever say, yeah, I fouled him, unless they're either trying to keep a teammate from fouling out, or if it's late in the game and they're stopping the clock. But outside of those two scenarios, they can reach out and punch somebody in the face, and they'll say, no, I didn't foul him. Ref, you're crazy. Just admit it. You fouled him. Basketball is supposed to be a non-contact sport. Now, it's not, but it used to be, but it's supposed to be. So, honestly, really, truly, the referees could call a foul just about every time down the court, and you couldn't complain, because every time you reach out and touch somebody, really, by the letter of the law, it's a foul. But most referees don't do that, but they could, because basketball is supposed to be a non-contact sport. And I'm fed up with fans being so soft. I mentioned this earlier in the week. And even though the basketball players tend to be the whiniest, football fans tend to be the whiniest. It's hard to be able to sit down and talk either college or NFL football with your friends, because if you say anything that differs from the way they feel, or if they like one team and you like one team, and you say anything bad about their team, they get their feelings hurt. I don't know what's happened to the days of people being able to just have an opinion. Just because somebody has an opinion and it's not the same as yours, doesn't mean they're attacking you. It doesn't mean they're attacking your team. It doesn't mean they're attacking your coach. It just means their opinion is different from yours. But somewhere in time, we have lost the ability to have opinions. Now, you can only have an opinion if it's the same as somebody else's. If it's different, you can't have an opinion. And I'm fed up with the hot weather. I don't know about everybody else, but I can walk outside and walk to my mailbox and back, and I sweat. And I don't like that. I would rather be in 25-degree weather than 95-degree weather all day long, which is why I like the spring and I like the fall, because they're not too cold and they're not too hot. But if you give me a choice of 25-degree weather or 95-degree weather, give me 25 all day long. And last but not least, I'm fed up with sports shows not being about sports. Now, I will freely admit I have not watched a sports show in a long time. I still listen to sports talk on the radio, but as far as watching a sports show, I have not. I watch sports, but I don't watch the sports shows. And I've mentioned before here on the channel that I quit watching ESPN years ago. And I did, but that's because I was watching Sports Center probably 8 or 9 years ago. And across the bottom of the screen, they had a little ticker come across about a violent crime that happened somewhere. And those kind of things are bad, they're horrible, they're terrible. But the whole point of sports is to have something to watch, to have an escape from the real world. If I'm going to try to escape from the real world and turn on sports, and y'all are still talking about the real world, you're not doing your job. Sports is supposed to be an escape from the real world, not a sports anchor bringing the real world to me. So ever since that happened, I have watched ESPN less and less, because every single time something bad happens, they want to tell me about it. There's 14,975 channels that talk about the news. If I wanted to hear about down, depressing, negative news, I watch a news channel. I'm not watching a sports channel to hear about news. I'm watching a sports channel because, newsflash, I want to hear about and talk about sports. And it's mainly ESPN, but it's not only ESPN. Sometimes Fox Sports 1 does it, depending on exactly what's happening. Sometimes you hear about it on the radio, depending on exactly, what's happening. But again, even in the radio world, there are radio stations that talk news. So if something bad's happening and I want to hear about it, I'll turn on the news. I'm listening to sports because I want to hear about sports. And that's what's killed ESPN over the years, and why their ratings continue to go down, because they spend half an hour show talking about stuff that's not sports. And the point of a sports show is supposed to be about sports. And I just want the sports shows to go back to talking sports. And that's one reason why I don't watch College Game Day. Now, it might change now that Gene Wojciechowski is no longer there. But years and years ago, when they had Tom Rinaldi, and then it transitioned into Gene Wojciechowski, every week on College Game Day, they're showing a 20-minute tearjerker story. And the stories are good, don't get me wrong, but I'm not getting pumped up about sports by crying. I'm not getting pumped up to watch college football by hearing a depressing story. Maybe that's just me, but I'm not. When I've got to hear pumped up stuff pumped up music, positive stuff in order to get pumped up. You can't get me way up here and then tell me a sad story and get me down here and then all of a sudden I'm back up here. No, I've got to stay up here or stay down here. I don't watch a college football preview show to cry. I watch it to get prepared to watch college football. Any thoughts on any of this, please feel free to let me know. Homes for Our Troops is a publicly funded 501c nonprofit organization that builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans. Since the 2004 inception, nearly 90 cents of every dollar spent has gone directly to our program services for veterans. Visit at hfotusa.org. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. I just swapped our bed for a trampoline. My wife hit the roof. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.